Hey everyone, welcome to this daily Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for Tuesday, July 9th, 2019. All right, so today we have the moon still in Virgo, as was the case yesterday. So themes still likely around pragmatism, doing the work, creating some structure perhaps in our life, and really just striving towards the improvement of things with the moon here. So with this theme, we do have still a bit of this Mercury retrograde over Mars from yesterday. That's starting to ease up a bit. That's a bit of that maybe direct communications, maybe more fiery mind, or maybe learning more about our personal needs or desires and initiative, and more of that active kind of energy with Mars. Today, though, we do have the sun going over the north node and opposing up to Saturn, who's been next to the south node. So with this, really good day for seeing the big picture with things. If you are aware of anything that might feel like a limitation or needing some long-term perspective or patience, could be a really good day of developing this more responsible, patient approach to things, especially if there's anything new we're working about or anything new we're learning about ourselves with the sun over the north node. All right, so let's take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. All right, so here is the sky for this Tuesday. And again, we are using the actual size of the constellations as seen in the visible sky. If you are new to the channel, definitely check out the link down below for more information on true sidereal astrology. The signs are different from mainstream astrology. All right, so let's take a look here with the moon right in the middle of grounded Virgo. Virgo is about developing the side of ourself that wants structure, wants routine, wants things to be organized, wants to have that stability of that sort of improvement, pragmatic, grounded structural nature. So when the moon's here, we'll notice themes of this today more than likely, maybe around our work, maybe about improvement, these kinds of things. And so getting into this side of ourself when the moon's here is really good, right? This pragmatic sort of self-disciplined side of ourself could be a great way of working with the moon in Virgo. So this is all in the context of the fact that about a week ago we had the solar eclipse. So we are in what's called the first quarter phase of the lunar cycle now, which means it's a good time to challenge ourselves. If there's anything new that started to come up from a week ago, new shifts of perspective, maybe just a fresh new start, fresh new energy, great part of the week now to initiate. Right, set some intentions and really integrate and challenge ourselves towards cultivating whatever this new energy's been from over the past week. Now, with that being said, the sun is going to go over the north node. This solar eclipse was a north node solar eclipse. So the sun's going to be going over the north node here, suggesting a new beginning, another step, let's say, in the right direction involving this life path, involving maybe these shifts that have already started from a week ago. So the North Node's all about learning. It is about challenging ourselves, right? It is about personal development. How can we get outside of our comfort zone and try new and different things? And just be willing to make mistakes, especially with the conjunction in Gemini. This is all about developing the side of ourselves that is supposed to be about learning, being flexible and adaptive and curious, and this practical side of ourselves, maybe things like communication, our practical minds, exchanging learning, right? Exchanging with others, all right? This very practical, lighthearted stuff. So really good to get into this flexible, adaptive side of ourselves, but especially in the context of anything new we can challenge ourselves towards in that area, make mistakes with in that area, all for that learning process. So with that sun over the north node, since Saturn has been very close to the south node this part of the year, we do have the sun opposite up to Saturn here today. So really good day for working within our limitations, generally speaking. Usually with oppositions, we tend to, and this is very collective energy, so we're all going to feel this in different ways, but generally it tends to be something from the external environment, whether it be another person or an experience, or something like this, that the Saturn energy plays the role in. So Saturn is about working within those limitations. So we might be a bit keenly aware of them. We might see that maybe there are some things that we could use a bit of patience with, a bit of long-term perspective, right? And then really self-limiting, right? In the sense of developing that patience, that responsibility, that long-term approach can be a really good way of working with this opposition. Now, with all oppositions, there can sometimes be some extremes on either side. Sometimes it can be like a pendulum. So if there's too much Saturn energy, if it's anything that feels too limiting or too serious or too dense, maybe bring in some of that Sun energy. Sun energy is about fun. It's about playfulness. It's about self-expression. It's about creativity. Now, if there's not enough Saturn energy, right, which is kind of the example I used before, bringing in some of that, right? Patient, discipline, long-term approach could be really good. Just finding that balanced way of working with that Saturnian type of stuff in life. All right, and this can be very constructive. This is also a heightened part of the Sun-Saturn cycle, which means there could even be some things culminating. If over the past 6 months you've been disciplined towards something or working hard towards something, this could be the high point of that, and maybe some things culminating. Maybe a great time to do a status check. How are these structures in your life? How are these responsibilities going? Right? And continue to move forward in that direction. Again, especially with the Sun over the North Node, a nice step along that life journey today. All right, so that's the most important thing going on here today. We will likely notice a bit of that Mercury over Mars easing up a bit. They're still very close to each other. So if from yesterday, if you felt any bit of maybe direct communications, maybe you were learning more about your personal needs or taking initiative or asserting yourself in some way, this could be a really good day of implementing that stuff. It's kind of the post-conjunction, which means it gets a little bit easier to work with, and it's a great time for implementing any of those shifts that took place from yesterday. All right, and of course with Mercury still retrograde, it's still good to be flexible and adaptive, especially with all this energy in Gemini. Mercury retrograde is about learning, is about experimenting, trying new things, and then maybe going back and redoing some things. Maybe there's some things from the past or some things that we were thinking about a couple months ago or something that we can now go back and redo and rework. Especially with Mercury so close to Mars, there can actually be that drive and that initiative towards some of these things, right? Especially if it involves what you're thinking about, communicating, or that routine. All right, everyone, so that is the day in a nutshell. Most important thing being this Sun opposite Saturn, good for that responsibility, long-term approach, especially with the moon in Virgo. Virgo is very much like that Saturn-Earth energy in that it is about developing this pragmatism, this how can we strive towards improvement and the refinement of things and develop that steady approach as well. All right, so everyone have a fantastic day. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the daily forecast. Take care.